out there, good morning and welcome to Hotseat. As usual, Hotseat brings the titans, as we know them, in politics of Nigeria. And on our guest list today is one big titan that when we get to introduce him, you will actually appreciate the person that we're talking about. And on today's Hotseat program, we have Dr. John Kennedy Osuala. Dr. John Kennedy Osuala is a presidential candidate of Rebuild Nigeria Party. Dr. John, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Akemi.
Pleasure.
God bless you.
Yes. Doc,
Yes.
it is not an easy terrain in Nigerian politics.
Yes.
So I want to believe that for you to have joined a political party like the Rebuild, as the name entails, you must have a lot in your stock. Please, can you give us a little insight into your manifesto that is tagged Nigeria's Global One Vision?
Thank you, Akemi. I am the presidential candidate, Rebuild Nigeria Party. If you look at that name, Rebuild Nigeria Party, it took a long time for INEC to register our party because of that name, but eventually it was registered. And our slogan is all hands on deck to rebuild Nigeria. The question, are we rebuilding Nigeria into what? We are rebuilding Nigeria to be the best nation on earth. Tall challenge. How are we going to do that? This manifesto is in a general way, but there are specific things we want to do. As a lecturer, when I was teaching mass communications, I was teaching development journalism. That compelled me to do development studies, and I studied the origin and development of more than 25 countries, beginning from Britain, France, US, the USA, all the developed countries. I took time to study the origin of their development and how they came up to what they are today. And you see one thing going through, from an agrarian society, they became an industrial society. The industrial dimension of their society means that they are now able to produce almost 60, 70, 80% of what they needed in their country and ready for export. The first country in the world, England, that became industrialized, became the workshop of the world. So for us in Rebuild Nigeria Party, looking at what Nigeria is and what Nigeria should have done, by 1970, the information is that Nigeria should have become an industrialized nation, given how we started, all the resources we had. But from 1960 to now, Nigeria is yet to become an industrial society. We got bothered. And we said, this politics we are doing, it must be politics for development. And we said, in Rebuild Nigeria Party, we must try to make Nigeria an industrial society. What does it mean? By now, more than 80% of what we need in this country, where we import those things, and we spend a lot of foreign exchange. In fuel, we spend over $36 billion in subsidy. But if we build refineries, we will not do that. So the key thing in this manifesto, the key thing we are presenting, our vision is Global One Vision. Then our mission is that to make Nigeria work is a task that must be worked. We must make Nigeria work. And to make Nigeria work, we must industrialize Nigeria. So the kernel of our manifesto is industrialization. Industrialization and industrialization. We must industrialize Nigeria. Already, we have a template. The bank, Nigeria's Bank of Industry, has what he calls one community, one industry. For more than 16 years, nobody is practicing that. So we've gone into the account and said, yes, if there is such an existing policy, why don't we do it? What it means...
Sorry, to cut out. This policy, yes. Who initiated it? How was it initiated? How did
this original, this was by the Nigeria's Bank of Industry.
Okay, BOI.
Yes, BOI.
Okay.
They have one community, one industry. When one Okutu was the managing director. So because he tarried with what we have, that time we were in the People's Democratic Party, and nobody was looking at it. We said, no, this thing, if every community has a manufacturing concern, there will be jobs. So it is there.
Is there a template of how this job could be?
How the industry will be? Yes,
related?
we are going to do that. That is what we will do. That is what in Rebuild Nigeria Party, when we come into government, we are going to do it. Let me tell you, what stops having a manufacturing is money. But in the Central Bank of Nigeria, they have what they call real sector facility support that gives 500 million naira to even startups. They have agricultural food chain, they have manufacturing concerns, they have education and everything, even hospitals. So the funds to give to people to start erecting factories are there already in the central bank. Then, yes, so we are saying we would want those who are already in the field, we encourage them, giving them access to these facilities. I've tried to do that as a private consultant. I've taken some people to the central bank. But when you take people to the central bank, they now refer you to a commercial bank. You go to a commercial bank, they ask you about collateral. The objective is defeated because nobody, if they have collateral, they wouldn't come to the bank. When we come into government, we will find ways and means of giving these credits to Nigerian people so that factories can come all over the place. The money is there for you, for students.
From your evaluation,
yes,
is Review Nigeria Party a welfarist government, or is it going to be a capitalist government?
You know, in today's world, both state intervention and private sector, they come together. Initially, through the studies, for you to move, there must be state intervention. Then, of course, when state intervention, then the private sector begins to take over. If, for instance, you can build heavy industries, and then you privatize it, sell the shares in the stock exchange. Nigerians will buy. It becomes owned by Nigerians. But those initial capital is difficult. That is why this facility that is in the central bank, we will ensure that Nigerians have access to the money. You have a range of startups, 500 million, up to 10 billion, if what you are doing, they understand it. And the repayment is 15 years. You pay at, I think, 1% interest. So if you have these funds, you can, like Aba people.
That's huge. You know, 1% of...
No, you pay it over a period of 15 years. Yeah. If you invest it properly, and then the banks monitor you, you will make profits, and then you repay.
You regenerate the economy.
Yes, you create a lot of jobs. People will be working. Then suppliers will be involved. At the end, you make back your capital. You pay gradually back to the CBN. So many people are not operating because they lack funds. But the funds are there, and these funds belong to the Nigerian people. And we are saying we'll make sure that Nigerian people have their funds to invest in industry.
Okay, let me take you on some of the introductory facts that we have on you. They say that you know and understand the Nigerian contemporary political and socio-economic challenges from grassroots to three tops. Please, can you elucidate on this?
Okay, it's part of what I'm saying. There's a lot of, the economy is not working. There's so much poverty in the country, and poverty is affecting so many people.
How do you begin to measure this poverty?
Okay, you begin to measure by, for instance, after a Christmas period, many people find it difficult paying the school fees for their children, and people get complaining. Those who are sick can't get to the hospital. If they get to the hospital, somebody has died because of 5,000 naira to deposit. The doctors refuse to take care of the person, and the person is dead. Ordinary 5,000 a Nigerian citizen. And so many things, some people don't eat 3 square meals, and it's a fact. You go on the road, you see people say, please, can you help me, and the rest of them.
Can you equate the IDPs as part of the very poor?
So what?
The IDP camps and the numerosity of population that is resident there.
Yes, the IDCP, no, there's what led to they becoming IDPs. So now they are in those IDPs, it is poverty all the way. But I'm even saying that people who are not in IDPs, they're almost like people in IDPs. In the current government, there's no difference between those who are in government and those who are outside the government. And people don't have shelter. People are always quarreling with their landlords. Landlords will eject people. Landlords will do this, landlords will do the other one. People don't have, and in Nigeria, you become a tenant. After 15 years, you leave. In Europe, the money you are paying over time is part of you owning that apartment. But here, you pay, after that, you go over to another place. When we talk about housing policy, we are going to address that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. There is another aspect that I saw. You said massive mechanization of agriculture and massive compulsory free qualitative education for all. Yes. Now, if we put these two aspects into focus, yes. Massive mechanization
of agriculture.
Yes. Can we actually attain that, given that the country is not mechanized as per industrially?
We can do that. We can do that by you get the machineries first. For every industrial revolution to take place, you get the machinery, then begin to indigenize it. Okay. For instance, you get the machines. You look at the machine. That's what the Japanese did. Even with this thing, they get something, they take it to pieces, look at it, they start to refabricate it.
So this means that your foundries must begin to function.
Yes. And if you go to Eastern Europe now, they have cheap agricultural equipment. What we need to do, get them, and we have fabricators in Nigeria, especially in Aba. They are ready to copy technology. You look at that and you copy it and reproduce and begin to use it.
Because spare parts is one very serious situation that Nigerians have, which is why mobility has been a problem. How do you intend to address that? The spare parts.
For instance, when Hitler fought the war in Germany, they produced all whatever they needed in Germany. They didn't go, they were not importing things, they were fabricating it.
No, before then they already had Mercedes.
No, remember, they had it, but remember the economy was bad. Up to the time they were using a borrowed load of this to buy a loaf of bread. The economy was in disaster. And Hitler and Winston Churchill said that if Hitler had died in 1938, he would have been the greatest leader, because an economy that was in shambles. He re-engineered it by getting everybody to start doing work.
Is there a single word that you can use to define the aspect that can be put into the economy for it to kickstart?
Is to industrialize. Industrialize is that we must begin to produce those things we need, and we can do them. If you go to Ariare, go to this, you see the machines they have direct processing, they have everything, even though it may look crude, but constant usage of it over time, you improve on it, or you get the current things and look at them and begin to do that. It can be done, but the will is lacking. The interest is also lacking. The direction is lacking. The supervision is lacking. Those in authorities at the present moment are not interested in these things I'm saying. This thing I'm saying looks economic. They are not interested in it. They are interested in selling crude oil and getting money. And that is dangerous for any economy.
But we have an establishment in Enugu where fabrications are conducted and carried out.
Proda. They call it Proda. Yes. Nobody encourages people to go there.
But it is functional and it is established by the government.
Then the government should encourage. That's what I'm telling you. Like I've mentioned certain facilities, like this real sector support facility. Many people have not heard of it, but it's been there for more than 10 years. Things are there. Government puts some policies. They don't supervise it. They don't even activate it.
So are you?
We will do it. We will move from being on the theory. Our own administration will be moving on the ground to make sure things work.
So you are saying that you will now import technology?
No, the ones we don't have, we import. When you import, you indigenize.
Okay.
You import and indigenize. What you done is emulate. In the development story, they call it emulation. Okay. You emulate something, you look at that and say, we can do this thing. It's okay. Let me give you an example. This keke something. One chief was doing tricycle. He got the United Nations UNIDO, and they described his factory in Aba here as the biggest in West Africa. For government to support him, government turned around and started another thing and bypassed the man. The man has a factory facility and it's not working because nobody is supporting him.
Okay, so what do you think is the cause of that?
One is lack of willpower by government to ensure they prefer importing things. That is easier for them. The hard work dimension of it, they are not ready to invest in it, to be sure. Let this thing be done in Nigeria. Most of them are Eurocentric. They want to go out and all that. What they like is things that are happening in Europe. They don't want those things to happen in Nigeria without knowing that we are importing poverty. Because when we import these things, we are keeping people working in Europe and America, and the people don't work here. They like it.
And do you believe that the Europeans will allow you to develop and then stop patronizing them?
They don't need you. It is you, like the way I'm talking, the way I'm sounding. If I sound like this, that's a walk the talk. If I sound like this and I do it, and I'm convinced, I'm telling you what is from my heart. I'm not telling you something to impress people. What will we do? Because we are concerned about that. If you tell me, my friends, they come and say, this thing you've seen in Europe, can't it be done here? Let me give an example. Toyota plant, modern Toyota, to produce Toyota vehicles brand new, is $150 million US. They will set it up in Nigeria and be producing brand new Toyota this thing. When they produce it, Nigerians will be working. Here, the local Nigerians will be working. And then Nigerians will be driving brand new cars, not Tokumbo cars. If there's excess, we export it. The plant is in Nigeria. The money is here, $150 million. But there, you've been hearing stories about such monies that they're going to smoke.
But are you very much aware of the fact that there are indigenous companies that have been trying to make inroads into both car, vehicle manufacturing and all that?
Yes, like innocent vehicles,
Okay.
innocent motors. I understand sometimes the Ghanaian government came and took a large order. Is innocent being supported? Rather, there are some people are taking him up and down. That is wrong. It's because your people, the authorities, as of now, not when we come in. When we come in, we will encourage innocent industries, because that's what we have at heart.
Okay.
We are going to encourage innocent. We're going to support him instead of hounding him. We should be encouraging him. And instead of having one plant, maybe at Enugu, he should have other plants in other parts of Nigeria so that he can get his capacity can increase. So Nigerians will be using brand new cars. And when we do that, what it means, we will stop those Tokumbo cars that are importing. And we use our own. India did it for nearly 20 years. They never imported anything.
All right. Okay. Let us depart a little from manufacturing, because according to your Nigeria Global One vision,
yes,
it is like industrial based.
Yes, that is the key. Because let me tell you, the fact is that if Nigeria does not industrialize, will not become developed. Mark my language. You will be running around in circles.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, if we are to talk about the health sector,
yes,
the economy, what are your articulated plans
let us
for the economy and the health sector?
Let's talk about the health sector.
Right.
One part of the problem is you don't have state-of-the-art equipment in the hospital. That is why most Nigerians, even the leaders, go outside for treatment. And then, like I said, if you get state-of-the-art machines, you have scientists and technologists who are here. We say, gentlemen, look at these things. Can we produce this thing back here? If we can produce it, we start doing it. So one, we will ensure that we have world-class hospitals. In terms of the equipment, at least in the first instance, we get correct equipment. We get the equipment. Then the environment, it will stop. It's almost like a mortuary type of thing. The direction for hospitals now, it's like, it looks like 5-star hotels. So that you go in, you'll be comfortable, and that's what happens in India. What they call hospital tourism.
Medical tourism.
Yeah, medical tourism rather. You come there, you feel happy and all that. What stops us from doing it? We can turn our hospitals like that. So if you go, you look, you can go and take a bed rest, and it's okay.
Is your party,
yes,
and your associates,
yes,
have you any articulated plan or agenda to improve on the procurement, installation, and maintenance of health, the health facilities in the world?
Yes, we are. One, we are committed to it. We are patriotically committed to it. And because we are patriotically committed to it, we have constructive engagement with those because business people who will get this in, you must support them. For instance, some you give them waivers, you give them tax breaks, you encourage them. We are ready to do that and ensure, one, of course, you bring the correct equipment into the country. You don't go to Europe and buy second-hand equipment or refurbished equipment and come. You will know we are going to be very, very strict in ensuring that quality is input, that you give us money for value to do that. We are going to do it. We are convinced. That is why we are rebuild Nigeria. Our party is different. Our party is not I'm tried and trusted. It's no policy.
You talked about agriculture.
Yes.
Mechanized agriculture. What particular product range or plant or crop range do you want to explore?
Okay.
Because we know that predominantly Nigeria is in the tropics, and we must latch onto the tropical crops.
For instance, let me tell you.
And agricultural-based
yes,
products.
We have so much opportunities. For instance, look at this palm oil business. You know the story of Malaysia and all those ones. Now, look at the Malaysians. They have gone to Ivory Coast. They are going to many parts of Africa, buy large swaths of land where they plant palm. That one they took from Nigeria, went to Malaysia and came back. But we still have large acres of unfarmed land. So when you say the mechanization is, for instance, you use by the harvesters, those equipment, and take large tracts of land to plant and harvest. By that harvest, it is not subsistence as people can go and do it. You need equipment to do that. And when you do that, you get palm oil in that scale. You process that palm oil. It becomes vegetable oil. All the byproducts that come out from it, PKO and the rest of them, you get them and use them into so many things for sufficiently for our internal consumption and for export. In that case, we will not be importing. We import palm oil. You know now, we import palm oil, and we import vegetable oil. When we are the original, the largest exporter before in the world, now we have lost it. And we are Malaysia. They make more money from palm oil than Nigeria makes from crude oil. But we are the original largest exporter of crude oil. So when you want to plant, it's not you go and plant one this thing. By mechanization, this is large acres of land. I travel between Okene, Nkovi, Kwara to I think Osun. If you see the extent of empty original forest land, that nothing has been done there, empty.
Something from Gombe to
So such are the areas you plant whatever that you need, you plant it in very large distance quantity. When you now harvest, we will have sufficient for our local use. Then we will have for export. Where I am landing in is all is agro-allied, our industrial policy. You produce this thing, when you export finished product, that is when we are in business. That's when Nigeria will be in business, because we plant on a large quantity to be mechanized, because you can't do it. You cannot, not this thing people do. Elderly people go and do, they try and they are tired. No. It must be agriculture as big business. You do it and you take large acres of land. You plant, you need machines to do that.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Now, you are aware of the fact that Nigeria is like sitting on the keg of a gunpowder when it comes to security.
Yes.
There are so many security challenges bedeviling the nation. Yes. If we begin to enumerate them, then we begin to talk about the Boko Haram, cases of kidnapping and abduction,
yes.
Talking about insurgency
and
robbery, and then, to a very large extent, violence all over.
Yes.
What is the articulated manifesto of your party and yourself to tackle these issues?
They have one common denominator. There's poverty behind it. There is illiteracy behind it. Because if you watch the children of rich people, educated people, they are occupied, gainfully employed, they are well educated. You don't see them in violence. You don't see them in insurgencies. The people you see in insurgencies are almost those who have no opportunity, who have no guidance. If you tackle the base of poverty, for instance, I talked about education. We said free education. We have it here. When you, like George Weah in Liberia, declared free education. When people can go to school and the excess money we have, we use that money to cushion up their school fees or whatever they need. They go to school. You have reduced 50% of their entering into violence and all that. Now, when they're gainfully employed by all these industries we are talking about, actually, we said here, we want to first stage of our industrial something is to have 774 factories in every local government.
Okay.
The second stage is 8,812 by words, INEC words. Yet it hasn't come close to the Bank of Industry, because Bank of Industry says one community, one industry. So this 8,812 factories is many communities are in a ward. So you are saying thousands of factories articulated by an existing government agency, Bank of Industry. So it is possible, but it is not being done. When you do this, people will be so much occupied working, tendency for insurgency, armed robbery, and all that will be reduced, because it's when you are idle, you become a devil's workshop. If you occupy, like in Europe, my friend out there, he does 3 jobs. He will go in the morning, work in this factory, come and work in that factory. That's how you see Nigeria, they go to career, they say they pay them per hour. You do the work, they pay you. You will be tired because you are waiting to go for another shift that you don't have time to plan or info. But when you are idle, you think and say, this Nigeria, you won't agree to enter into something. You must handle poverty. Education will help you. One, when you're educated, you will know the things to do, not to do. You will even know the things that can help you to do that. With that education, you are gainfully employed. Beyond that, we are saying that there is also another facility, Youth Entrepreneurship Empowerment Program in the Central Bank. They give graduates 3 million to start whatever business that they have done feasibility studies. Yes, you do a business plan. When you do a business, yes, and they look at your business plan, they know you can do it, they give you 3 million. Now, your collateral, they call it mobile collateral, your certificate. So you deposit your certificate, they give you the 3 million. Then you use it to embark on that business. When you improve, they give you up to 10 million again. Such things are existing, but do they tell it to people? I'm saying it and it's sounding as a novelty. It's been there for more than 10 years. I took time to study existing policies in Nigeria, plus the one we want to do. So what is existing that is good, we will act on it, because he said the Bank of Industry belongs to Nigerian people. The Central Bank belongs to Nigerian people. So if they have something that is good, we will activate that and popularize it and make everybody know about it and make everybody take advantage of it for the benefit of the country. This thing, when we do things like this, poverty doesn't know whether you're from east, south, or west. Okay. If you handle poverty, everybody, insurgency will be reduced. And you can't go be planning anything because you are comfortable, you know.
But you are aware of the fact that Nigeria has what we call geopolitical zones.
Yes.
And there are peculiarities in all these geopolitical zones.
Yes.
Now, take for example, the northern geopolitical zones are beautified with this Almajiri system.
Yes.
Now, Almajiri is or has become
institutionalized by some people
and has become like a plague on Nigerian society, particularly those zones. How do you intend to tackle that?
For instance, when we know, I use the word now institutionalized for the benefit of some people. Some parts of the elite there like that. Because it remove those people cannot compete with anybody and they can make trouble or whatever. The last Jonathan government tried to do something about it. It didn't start early. If from day one you start and you get the leadership of the people and say, gentlemen, we belong to a modern Nigeria. In a modern Nigeria, you don't have hundreds of people who are beggars. No. Even in ancient Rome, you don't see that banned begging. And even in Europe, you can't beg. That is why you can see somebody playing guitar. They will be dropping coins. He is walking by the guitar is playing. But Nigeria is saying, give me money. No, for nothing. So the Almajaris, if you have an engagement with even the clerics, the emirs, and they say, gentlemen, this country can move forward. This is the way this thing is going. These people must go to school, and you ensure. If you have interest and ordinarily say, well, it doesn't concern me. That's what happened. You can say, well, maybe it's happened from the north, it's not your. But if you know, you take up, for instance, myself, I've said I want to be president of Nigeria to tackle Nigeria's problems. All Nigeria's problems, not this one and leave this one and do the other one. When you engage with them, engage with the leaders, this is what this government wants to do. This thing, we want this system to go.
All right.
Yes, we want this thing to go because they know how it will, what they can do, and it will go. But nobody has taken time. You say, leave them. You can be in presidential, but I say, well, it doesn't concern you. Let them do whatever they do. But it's like, if you have a headache in your head, you say, it doesn't concern you. It's all over your body. You feel uncomfortable. All types of those, like even the Niger Delta thing. You look at Niger Delta.
Agitations and insurgency. Okay, do not let your thoughts not run away from you. Okay. We'll take a break if you are home now, and when we return, we'll be talking some more with John Kennedy Osuala, presidential candidate of Rebuild Nigeria Party. Don't go away.
One mic, one stage, all live at Benes Hotel as Abia Media Roundtable presents Abia Political Debate. Date 4th February for National Assembly candidates, 21st February for governorship candidates. For more information, call 080-3669-3622. This program is proudly brought to you by MCLtv, Boss FM, Magic FM, MCLtv, NTA Channel 6 ABA, PBS, and Ibere Online TV.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're right on time for the second part of our exciting and very interesting program, Hotseat. As you know, Hotseat is having a guest in the person of His Excellency, the presidential candidate of Rebuild Nigeria Party, Osuala. Doctor, you're welcome once more.
Thank you.
And like we said, your thoughts should not depart.
Yes.
Because we are still talking about how to rebuild Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, we were talking about the Almajiri system,
yes,
and
general security.
Yes. You have not actually given us the right onions or the right and positive way to curb.
One is to
that very particular.
Yes, the Almajiri
like
system,
a stigma now in
yes,
the country.
is to get the leadership, the elite in the north. There's a way they operate. The emirs have overriding influence there.
Okay.
Yes, and today we have very enlightened emirs, like Sanusi, the former governor of Central Bank.
Yes.
And he understands this. And you have the Sultan of Sokoto, is a retired brigadier general. When we went to sign this peace accord late December, I saw him there. Very enlightened people. When you engage with those people and say, gentlemen or leaders, the way this thing is functioning is not working for the country. In the long run, it's not working for you. Let us change it. You get you consult with them properly, and then you get their support. With them, because, for instance, I'm from the southeast. When I'll be talking it, the nitty-gritties, the background information I may not have. But when you engage with the leaders and say, this is the way we want this country to go, if this is one country. We won't have a large number of people you say they are Almajiris, they are this and that. While maybe your own children are not Almajiris. Why are your children not Almajiris? Everybody should have an Almajiris, but they are not. So with their support, these people you can get these people to start going to school. You can get these people to start getting maybe skills that can enable them be engaged. Is
it going to be mobile or is it going to be static?
No, you have to be elastic. There must be mobility. You can't be, if you're static, it's not going to work. If they see that there is a federal government that has an interest in this, and you have agencies of government who will participate to monitor to ensure that these things are done, it would be changed.
But okay, that brings us to the situation where I wanted to point out. You know, the Northerners are mostly herders, yes, and they are herding. This herding profession that they are engaging makes them become itinerants. Yes. They move from place to place, shepherding and herding their cattle, goats, and sheep, which is why they don't have time to actually take care of sit and have a study family, so that what they do is that when the children come, they allow them to go about and become Almajiris. Now, herders have become a situation, herders-farmers conflict, because of the herds that rampage into the farmland. You know that is a very serious issue.
Yes. That
has degenerated to a level whereby the quantity and the volume and ratio of fatality is outrageous.
Massive loss of life. They are using diplomatic
how do you
language.
intend to nip this situation in the bud?
One, there's a concept of nomadic education. We'll find out whether it is working, or people are sabotaging it, or people are not encouraging it. Because in a 21st century Nigeria, you will not use 15th century methods to be managing your cattle. This is cattle, is business. The way it's being done, they are still using ancient methods to do that. That's not what Argentina is using. That was not other countries in Europe are doing. It is the same cattle. It is the same meat. Why must you be headers?
How do you mean ancient?
Ancient, because moving in Europe, you don't see this
so
cows.
you're talking about the grazing, right?
Whether the grazing or those are the headers. If the headers, if they go to school and they understand, for instance, if they're interested in heading, they study agriculture, livestock branch of agriculture. If you study it, this is not the modern way to do this. You must have modern ranches or estates where those things. In America is one of the largest exporters of meat products.
But dealing with a society like Nigeria, particularly the North, where we have a high propensity of the illiterate, how do you begin to?
This illiteracy business, it has taken time. Now, you must, because the way, if it is in the East, everybody's almost like he's on his own. But there, they listen, the MA has said this, the MA has said that, or this village chief has said this. When you get to those villages, and they know that this government, the policy is that you tell them this is an ancient way of running this business. It's because you carry cow and go. You go in America, thousands of cattle heads in a beautiful day. There's one I saw. It's like a factory, very neat. You see the cattle, and the size of their cattle is double that our own. So we're not doing any business. You have to convince the leaders to get to the people there, because if it's the Igbo people, everybody, they will learn quickly and go their way.
If you were to articulate the grazing law, how would you?
It will be done in such a way that you don't have clashes and all that. For me, I would have thought you have a centralized, you have some ranches. You don't have people moving into people's farms and all that.
These ranches, is
yes.
it going to be government owned or privately owned?
Well, people own those cattle. And then the normal thing would have been for you to have land for your business. But if it's a national security issue and we think it can impinge on our general security, we see how maybe the government can intervene in a reasonable way that people don't feel you are trying to establish colonies in their places.
And how would you do that?
Well, you need some consultations to be done. It's not something you give a straight answer to. First of all, you have to believe it will be done. Secondly, you have
the consultation.
Yes, so what?
You have not done any of the.
No, we have. That's why I'm talking about the leaders. We have these things. I'm saying I've expressed these views to people. I'm saying this thing, the way this thing is going, is not the proper way it should be going. That we are in the 21st century Nigeria. That will not be using ancient methods.
No, that is established.
Yes, to operate business. It's for them. I'm telling them this is what we should do.
What is it you're telling them?
I'm telling them we should go to modern methods. For me, I think in this manifesto, I said some headsmen will please take them out.
Can you please explain this modern method? Because you see, when we're saying modern method is broad-based. Okay. But if you are to articulate it and say, this is how we can start it. Because somebody has built it for them to begin to engage the long forgotten grading tracks.
First, you see, I say you learn by emulation.
Okay.
In the leading exporters of these meat products, they have ranches. That's why I say American cowboys. You used to hear about that. You do ranches. So it is there. So you don't disturb any person. Whatever the grazing something is inside there. So you don't disturb another person. You don't go into another person's farm. In America, you don't do that.
So are you speaking based on peripheral knowledge, or are you speaking?
No, I'm speaking from research. I'm speaking from research.
Manifesto that you intend to implement.
Yes, it's even clearer there. But okay. I'm just talking because I believe in it. Because you must believe in something before you want to address it. Okay. If Nigerian leaders believe in this thing, and the people from there also want their people to come out from the ancient methods to modern methods, they will do it because people own those cattle. If you call your people and say, listen, we have to be here now, we won't be moving from place to place, okay. They will obey them.
All right. So what is your take on the anti-grazing law?
It's sensitive because there's political dimensions to it. So we don't give an immediate clear answer to it.
Can you please elucidate on what you mean by political dimensions?
No. You make anti-grazing laws, people feel offended and there are clashes and all that.
What will you have a brief idea of what the anti-grazing law is?
Yes.
There's a word that we are missing. Open grazing.
Yes. So when you make a law and to enforce that law leads to problems, you have to rethink. And that is why you go back to the origin. Ordinarily, because they bring this cattle from maybe from the north, they are moving in, and people say you are destroying their things and whatever, trouble begins to happen. But if we agree that, gentlemen, even if you are in the south, if you buy your land, like those open spaces I told you between Okene and this thing, if you buy land that you have bought land, it's like you are setting up a farm, a plantation, and you've bought the land. You enclose your land and do what if it's cattle you are doing there, you do. But the people don't see it as business. They see the thing as it's open. You go everywhere, whatever you see cattle and them. If they understand that now they are doing business, this business, you have to own a portion of land to run this your business, and you enclose it. If you have bought land, even if it is in Enugu or anywhere, you buy land, you have bought the land. Whatever you do inside concerns you. But because they don't look at it as business, and even ordinary people who see them say, these people who are rearing cattle, without knowing that each one is 100,000. If you multiply 100,000 by the number of cattle you see it's big business. If you are doing such a level of business, you should be able to get money to buy where you can run your business.
Let us briefly look into empowerment. There are categories of empowerment. The industrial empowerment, you mentioned that earlier. What about the other aspects of empowerment that some people now in the course of campaign buy things, give to people, say they're setting up this, and they go and buy a keke and dash to people, and they buy sewing machine and give to people who go and pack them in their houses and all that. What is the scope of your empowerment?
I don't consider that. My own empowerment is education, because when you are properly educated, you will find out the things you want to do. And the type of education we want to incorporate entrepreneurship right from primary school down, so that as you are moving, you begin to know, I would like to do this or do that. This keke business and all that is pedestrian in nature. They use it to give to general people like that. And some don't do the keke, some don't do the keke. For me, you don't get a university graduate and you give him a keke. You find a job for him, or you establish a factory. All these people doing that, let me tell you, this brings me to something. They give them a constituency allowance of 500 million. Yes, 500 million. Now, for us, what we have in our manifesto, that constituency project, we now call it constituency industrial project. That's what we tend to do. Okay. And we will engage with the National Assembly people. It's not just they give you 500 million times 4 is 2 billion. Where is the 2 billion? You buy a small keke machine? No. If you set up a medium-scale factory of 500 million, you will employ so many people. So if you say you empower, that's the type of empowerment you are talking. This is not primitive empowerment. This is empowerment for third world countries. These things they are doing, machine and buying fishing nets. Will your own son go and do fishing? I'm asking you. You want another people's children to be going about doing this thing? No. Train the person properly.
But you know that fishing, fishery is now a very big business.
If you run it as a business, not by going into the streams. If that is a company you are running and you have funds, like we are saying, you get to this fund I'm talking about, the real sector support facility, and they give you money, you get a business plan on how we are going to run this business, you run it properly. If you have trawlers, if you have whatever you have, you know you have it, you are running it to employ people. That is business. Not you early morning you go to the stream and be throwing net there and say, that's not business.
Okay, ethno-religious conflict has been the bane of our society, and it is volatile. That's why we say that it appears Nigeria is sitting on the cake of gunpowder. You know that it exists, but nobody is willing to take it headlong. How does your party?
The leaders are lily liver. They are not patriotic enough.
How do you mean, sir?
Yes, if you are.
Can you give us examples?
For instance, in other countries of the world, people see them, they are president, they see themselves as president of that country, not president of a section of the country, president of it. And if you're president of a country, you look holistically on how you tackle issues. So this is ethno-religious and this and that. Many, for instance, the United States of America is more diverse than Nigeria. The United States of America is 10 times bigger than Nigeria. And you have all sorts of religion and people are allowed to worship whatever they like. It does not bring problem because there's a basic fundamental thing that America believes in.
Okay, all right. In your introduction, you were introduced as an ambassador of peace, unity, equity, and justice, and a first class conscientious and bridge builder, and the new face of democracy, and so on and so forth. How do you intend to transform these very particular aspects?
For instance, people from the southeast, what would they
I
do?
ask this because the geopolitical zone zoning in Nigeria is becoming more of a problem for us to manage.
Well, you've introduced many elements, but because I will first of all,
because you said ambassador of peace, unity,
yes,
equity, and justice.
Yes.
And
Let me handle that. Let me handle that. People from my area,
yes,
from the southeast, are under this burden of marginalization, this. Because there's an earlier federal government policy, the 3 R's, the reconciliation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation. It was abandoned halfway. It was not properly done. Today, perhaps it's coming back through the Southeast Development Commission. We have to go back to it because the federal government policy, what they planned for the Southeast, why did it not work out? You set up a committee on that. It's a federal government policy. You bring it up to ensure that there is fairness to people from the Southeast.
You mentioned Southeast Development
Commission, yes.
Has it actually, or is it on paper?
I think it's trying to get.
You think, sir?
It's trying. They are discussing the nationals and they want it to take place as well. But for me, what concerns me about that is that it comes back to something we have at heart: the old policy to reconcile, reconstruct, and rehabilitate the Southeast, which is why people of the Southeast they are not pleased. And when they're talking about equity and the rest of them, you look at what is causing that thing. They are not happy. They are not getting perhaps their fair share of whatever they deserve in this country. And people are saying they should wait for 2023, 2000, 2030. No, it's part of that. You don't tell anybody in Nigeria when he's going to contest for presidency. You don't do that. I did an interview in the Sun. I said it's rubbish. I used the word absolute rubbish. We are doing a contest. Let us do the contest and see. Part of it, I believe I'm in Nigeria and we'll contest this thing. You don't tell me when to come because I never told you when you are going to contest. You didn't. I didn't. So why would you tell me from Southeast to do that? And some of our people believe in it and they are falling over themselves. It is 2000. It is 20. That is not politics. We are doing politics. We must fight. Even if they are marginalizing you, fight it. Part of equity again, we ascertain in the number of states we have. And that brings me, we believe in more state creation. We need to. Some people, Northwest has 7 states. The Southeast has 5. Are you happy?
But have you also contended with the fact that not every state that has been created is viable?
No, the states
because
it's about management. It's management. You don't have those who manage it. Even if you can, people can. If you use a local government is something that is an entity that is very, very strong. If you know how to manage, if you get the right leaders to manage states, states will be viable. They give you have sources of getting revenue and you are committed to doing certain things. Like all this now I'm talking about factories. All these factories will be paying taxes, will be creating employment, will be doing these things for that state. States that are unviable is where you have unimaginative leaders who cannot do anything and they tell you it's not viable. States can be viable because it's an entity.
You use the word can.
It can because the fact is dependent on the quality of leadership. Like Nigeria can work if the right people are doing it. It's not working because the right people are not doing anything. You give us the first 1 year, 1 year, you see what 365 days, you see what we are going to do. Because we are talking from our heart. We are concerned about what we are going to do.
Okay.
I'm telling you this thing to do, and I tell you where the money is.
Okay.
I'm telling you the money is there, it's existing. We use the money to do it.
Okay, so please, what is your take on the military? Because there is a lot of situation with the military. Just of late, there has been a lot of attacks on the military, and it is beginning to pose a question as to the viability of our military and the capability of our military to defend the country. If they are under constant attack from insurgents within our own country, well, what happens if an attack from outside comes?
Okay, well, it needs engineering and re-engineering the military.
How do you mean re-engineering?
Yes. For instance, you introduce a lot of special forces. You increase the regimen of training.
That is not already there.
It may not be there because if it's there, you may not be seeing what you are seeing. If you believe,
have you taken time as a presidential candidate to analyze what is on ground.
Yeah, that's why what I'm saying.
So that is your deduction, right?
My deduction is that because if you are overwhelmed, it means something is lacking. You don't need me to, you know something is lacking.
So
if something is lacking, we will correct that thing that is lacking.
Are you saying that the Nigerian military is overwhelmed?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it needs engineering and any system needs engineering and re-engineering. If you are not meeting your target, you re-engineer yourself to meet the target. If you move and you test it by going to the field, if you go to the field, don't get good results, you come back to the drawing board and say, gentlemen, what happened? I used to mention the German in the Second World War, because when they were training the military, they said they want to train the best military in the world, and the Panzer divisions were the best. When they are moving, they were moving. Training. Before that time, the German army was in shambles. So somebody came and infused the spirit into them. Gentlemen, we are the best in the world, and they believed that they were the best in the world. They will conquer 3,000 miles. They conquer you. You did that. Come, you are running. What is the spirit? Do you have the spirit?
Do you have some aspect of neo-Nazi?
No, I'm a student of history, world history.
Okay.
So I read American, like George Sherman in the American Civil War. I read what led to those successes. The spirit of the leaders.
Why I asked if you're pro-Nazi is because you mentioned the Nazi, the Adolf Hitler situation more than on 3 occasions. And then I'm also saying that while Adolf Hitler was doing his own, Winston Churchill and the rest of them were doing, and Freeman was doing his own in America. So I would have expected that you would have.
I told you that Winston Churchill said that if Hitler had died in 1938, he would have been the greatest leader in the world because he turned an impossible situation into success, even though he didn't like his policies. So you may not like somebody's policies, but the techniques, that was the techniques that John Kennedy also used in the US. He has, when the Russians beat them to space, it was an embarrassment to the Americans. He assembled American scientists. Chief of the American scientists was from Germany. Those who were doing rockets in Germany. He assembled the gentlemen who beat the Russians to the moon. Has any Nigerian leader done that? Assembled people, assembled into first-class intellectuals, engineers, technology, and say, gentlemen, this is what we want to do. Has it been done?
Okay, thank you very much. Succinctly put, just because we don't have too much time. Finally, I want you to aggregate your words in just some your words to the Nigerian populace in 1 minute.
First of all, the EFCC, we will want to rename it as Financial Integrity Regulatory Commission, FIRC, instead of EFCC, to encourage people to believe in financial integrity and not economics and financial crimes. We will want to do that. The National Orientation Agency, NOAA, we would like to call it ABCD, Attitude and Behavior Change Directorate, because that is actually what it does. People don't know what that orientation means. And if you look at it, we call it, what we call here NOAA, National Obligatory Work Attitude. Let Nigerians believe in hard work. You have to work to get something out. And yes, and the overall strategy, we are calling it the power of love. The love of God, love of country, love of neighbor, love of family, and love of hard, creative, constructive, and productive work. If you take love of God and love of hard, creative, constructive, and productive work, we become a success in Nigeria. We become the best nation in the world. That is what we want to do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
John Kennedy Chukwu the Osuala was born on the 2nd of August 1959, and he holds so much degrees. He has a higher diploma in mass comm. He has a bachelor's in mass comm, has a master's in mass comm. He has a PhD in mass comm. So he is all round a mass communicator. Besides that, he's done so much in terms of research and working. He's been a teacher. He's been a news reporter, staff writer with Nigerian Television Authority in Amba. He did his internship there. He's a public relations officer during his NYSC. He's a lecturer and head of mass comm department, School of Management, formerly now Temple Gate. He's been an assistant registrar. He's been a chief executive consulting editor-in-chief of Mona Communications, the political correspondent at Part Times newspaper, president CEO Mona Communications, chief press secretary at Badnot Local Government, management trainer and principal consultant. He has held it all. On that note, finally, what and how do you unwind?
Well, you may not believe it. I enjoy reading history, current affairs, and discussions like this. I enjoy it.
So, how does Madam cope with you? Because you...
Madam is a political scientist, so I made her study political science. And besides that, even though I forgot it, my own next plan is that Nigeria must get the World Cup. So whatever you're going, we must plan to get the World Cup. We must aim to get it.
Okay.
Yes. We cannot be on the sideline. And our premiership that we enjoy the one in England, we must do one in Nigeria.
Okay.
I enjoy premiership, but I will enjoy a Nigerian premiership that is as good as the English premiership. That is what will make me very, very happy. Not the English premiership. Nigerian premiership of that quality.
Thank you very much. Pleasure having you on the board.
Thank you.
I hope the seat was not as hot as you expected.
No, it's okay. I enjoy it.
We thank you for being there. Thank you for staying with us until we come away again next week. It's me, Ogugwa Wablike, from the hot seat saying thank you, and don't forget that Sir Chimdi Olwa will be back here next week with another guest. Bye for now. Have a lovely weekend.
MCL, the word in your home.